Hey, everybody, and welcome to our show. It's called Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We're going to select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us as the Kentucky Derby continues. The Kentucky Derby Trail continues to heat up. We're going to head to the East Coast over to the Big A. It's Aqueduct Racetrack in Ozone Park, New York. The Big A has an 11 race card that includes 4 stakes races. It's Gotham Stakes Day. The late pick 4 starts in race number 8. It ends in race number 11. And you know what? How convenient. They're all stakes in the pick 4 on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'm going to be joined by my friends, and they're also my racing analysts for tonight. And first up, we're going to start over on the East Coast. I think you can probably hear the starting gate bell from his house over there in Staten Island, New York. Ray Torado, have you been this week? And, I always like to ask this question everywhere we ever go to track. Have you ever been to Aqueduct Racetrack before, Ray?
Yes, I have. I've been there.
Yeah,
Some,
yeah, once.
plenty, few, many times. I like to go New Year's Day actually, but it would be nice to go tomorrow. But unfortunately, with a few commitments and with the children, can't go. But I'll still be close by.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
always nice to have a local handicapper with a local flavor there. And speaking of a local handicapper with a local flavor, he's local to me, but he's actually really a New Yorker himself. He's our West Coast handicapper, and he's coming to you from his home. That's in Temecula, California, in soggy Temecula, California. Joe English, have you ever been to Aqueduct Racetrack before?
The correct answer to the question, Ray, is too many times.
Amazing.
Yes, I have. And Rich, I like to say I'm New York by birth, but California by choice.
Ah, there you go.
Mm.
All right. Well, we're going to move along here, last week, we weren't here, but 2 weeks ago, I think way back when we were back at the fairgrounds and we came up empty. We haven't hit on a pick 4 ticket so far this year as a team, but we're going to take a quick weather update from Ozone Park, also known as Queens, New York. And for Saturday afternoon, it's partly cloudy. The high is near 45 degrees. Winds are like 5 to 10 miles an hour. And I believe there's like just a little slight chance, like a 10% chance of rain. So it sounds like a pleasant racing day. There are a total of 11 races. There are 4 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick 4 that begins in race number 8 and concludes in race number 11. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gates. It's pick 4 post time.
Let's do it.
45 degrees, Ray. Are you going to be wearing shorts tomorrow?
45. That's a nice. It'll be a nice day.
Short
I
sleeve.
tell you,
That's
heating up
balmy.
a little bit.
Balmy
And,
for
you
March.
know,
Beautiful for New York in March.
The clock's gonna change. It's gonna warm up. Watch.
All right. First up is race number 8. The approximate post time is 4:06 p.m. Eastern time. I apologize. I don't have, if there is a guarantee in the pick 4, somebody shout that out to me. They are going 6 furlongs on the main track. It is the Tom Fool handicap, grade 3. Purse is $200,000. It's a handicap for 4-year-olds and upward. 7 starters, and your morning line favorite starts in post number 3. It's Skylar's Scramjet, and it's trained by by Michelle Nevin and ridden by Dylan Davis, 8-5 on the Aqueduct morning line. Ray, you're hitting lead off for us tonight. Go ahead. Tell us who you like in the Tom Fool.
First of all, you want to know about pick 4 payout? It'll be just the accumulation of the nickels and dimes that they get from the tellers because NYRA, you talking NYRA. I'm sorry, they can guarantee anything. All right, Tom Full Stakes, 6 furlongs. This is I'm trying to beat the favorite here. I mean, Sky's Scramjet looks pretty good. I'm trying to beat him. There's 7 horses here. I'm gonna go 3 deep here. Just trying. I'm gonna try and beat him with the old-fashioned speed. The Aqueduct proliferally usually favors a little bit of speed here, so I'm gonna go number 5, Bavaro. It's a Linda Rice horse, New York bred, kind of speedy, 9 for 20, and 4 for 9 on the Aqueduct Oval. Moves up in class here, been running claiming races, but some huge figures. So this horse is in form, and I'm going to take a shot with this horse moving up. It's actually he won the Holly Hughes New York Breds and on the lead and been running very well. Claim from Jeremy Engelhardt 2 races back, and I think this horse gonna just go out there and push the pace and hopefully hold on. There's some other speed here, but I think this might be the speed of the speed for me. So I do like number 5 Bavaro. I do like number 1 Life in Shambles. This horse, um, with the speed, I'm gonna go like Rich says. Usually one for the front, one for the back. Life in Shambles will be on the rail, probably closing, and could take advantage of a nice pace there. His graded stake win was the 4 highway, carried 127 back in November. That's pretty light for 4 highway. I know Joe will remember Mount Livermore with 140, but this horse coming off probably need the races last low, maybe didn't like the surface, but I mean 4 lengths behind, not too bad. So still in a decent figure. Maybe 7 furlongs, or maybe might win a little bit of 6. Jason Service is blazing hot for the year, 32%. Got Manny Franco. So Life in Shambles looks like a good horse to me. I'm going to throw in there the favorite, Life Scramjet. Last year's winner, but since 0 for 5, so I'm a little tepid with this horse.
Yeah.
But it's 4 for, she's 4 for 8 at Aqueduct. So he does like the surface. For me, he's a little vulnerable favorite, but I'm gonna throw him in as an insurance policy for me. He may win well fresh here, fresh since January, and he did run the winning race in the toboggan. Just got caught the extra furlong. He had the lead. Solid wedge came and got him, but this horse could the Zoli is the favorite, and but he'll be third on my list. So I'm gonna go 3 deep here. I'll go 5, 1, and 3. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm gonna leave Syndergaard out. And I like he's pretty good, but Syndergaard for me, he's in Florida, getting ready for the baseball season.
Damn,
Joe,
damn Mets fans.
so that's still Mets. Another non-playoff year. Okay.
Ray and I can talk more about the Mets later.
Oh yeah.
But actually, Ray, to be, we're on different pages.
Okay.
I like Syndergaard. He's my top choice.
Hmm.
I the one advantage, I guess, of being unemployed is that I have a chance to do more handicapping and do some research, even though I did have some interviews this week. So I'm hoping to land something relatively soon. But anyway, on another altogether level, Syndergaard's been running well in state bred races, and the New York bred program, I have to give them credit, has improved a lot of late. And he won his non-winners of two lifetime when he came back in December. He followed that up with a really, really good effort in the Safe Florida Sandy. He got beat by Honor Up, who you'll hear me mention later in the show. But he ran really well, and he came back second off the layoff, and he had the lead, and he fought back. He was passed late, but he didn't quit, and I liked the way he came back. He was really game in that effort. And last time out, I think he's got some bottom because he went a mile, and now he's cutting back. Again, Honor Up was a horse who beat him last time. Beat him 2 times back, but he's not in this field. And I think Syndergaard, like I said, he's got quality. He's going to have enough speed. He doesn't have to be on the lead, and generally he's not probably going to be on the lead in this spot, but he'll be close enough to the lead. And like I said, I think he's got some bottom based on the mile, his progression from 6 to 7 to 8 furlongs, and now he's going back to 6 furlongs. So he's going to be able to have some stamina that some of these horses might not have. He's going to have speed and stamina, which is a combination I like. And Terranova's having a good year, 30% at the meet. Actually, 30% on the. I guess it's 30% at the meet. He doesn't usually team up with Johnny V, but actually that's a good sign for me because if you look back in his PPs, Johnny V's been aboard, and he was actually aboard for his maiden breaker and his win in the funny side at Saratoga. And the race that he finished second to Practical Joke in the Champagne, which is at the bottom of the PPs. So he's obviously got some quality to him. And like I said, I like the way John Terranova has handled him. His numbers for the year, Terranova's 3 for 9 over the last 30 days. At Aqueduct, he's 24%. and I just think he fits in this spot. And I think he's, like I said, I think he'll be fit. I think he fits, and he's not going to be the favorite. At least I don't think so, unless somehow he throws a no hitter between now and tomorrow, and everybody says, "Oh well, if he threw a no hitter at spring training, the horse will obviously do well because that's just the way people who bet horses are." So I like him on top. My second choice is a horse who Ray did not mention. That's the 2, Do Share, coming out of the same race that Life in Shambles come out of, and it was his return from a freshening as well, and he ran a lot better than Life in Shambles did. Mike Maker he's got a very limited history with Raylu Gutierrez, 3 for 6 over the last year. The horse loves Aqueduct. He's been in the money 5 out of 6 times, and the only time he wasn't in the money was in the Carter, which is a grade 1. So I'll forgive him for not being in the money that time. He likes the distance. He's been in the exactest 9 out of the 11 times. Maker's not necessarily all that great with dirt sprinters. Generally, Maker's known more as a turf trainer, distance turf trainer. But obviously, he can get this horse to the winner's circle. He's quality horseman, and I think the horse will be better off second time out after the layoff. As a 6-year-old gelding, I don't think there's a chance that the horse is going to regress off that effort. I think he'll just move forward. And then the other horse that I like, those are my 2 top choices, and they would be my A choices. The other horse that Ray mentioned that I liked is the 1, Life in Shambles. Again, excuse me, coming out of the General George at Laurel. He did finish well. Again, probably a race that was needed by this horse. And in that race, the early speed all folded, and the closers did really well, except for the winner. The winner went wire to wire. But this horse was wide. And Service's numbers are just, it's ridiculous. If you go back, even just the last 30 days, 41%. 41%. And guys, it's not a small sample size. And even his last 30 days at Aqueduct is 44%. So, I'm not sure. I can't. The only thing I can do is use the data in front of me. I think this horse will be better second time out. He's going to get the rail. I think there's enough speed in here that he'll be able to come from off the pace. You'll be able to come from off the pace when I think the track's been playing pretty fair at Aqueduct. Service's numbers are ones you can't ignore. So he'd be on my ticket. He's not going to be a top choice for me. Like I said, I'm going with the 4, Syndergaard, and the 2, Do Share as my top choices in the Tom Fool. But I would definitely be remiss if I didn't include Service's horse, Life in Shambles, especially at that price at 6-1. So 4, 2, and then the 1 as a B choice for me in the Tom Fool. Rich?
And initially I was only going to go too deep, but that's why we do this show. Oftentimes I'll add a horse based on the handicapping that I hear that's there. So my top pick is the check mark that you see on the screen there. I did go Life in Shambles here. Again, on 3 Broke Guys Handicapping, sometimes we go to the back page first. This is a horse race that, based on the numbers, if you look here, you get about 76% of the time. That's almost Santa Anita numbers. As far as 6 furlong dirt races in a very, very wide sample size, you even get 34% that go wire to wire. And so it would look like the logic would be to go ahead and go for the speed, except the horse race looked like it was quite loaded with speed, other than what I talked about at the very beginning, which was Joe's analysis there on Syndergaard. Everybody else looked like they were kind of not necessarily going to need the lead, but it looks like everybody's going to the lead. There's going to be quite a crowd there at the very beginning. So I decided to go ahead and look for somebody who was going to come a little bit off the pace, and that's going to be Life in Shambles. Again, Joe just alluded to the fact that Jason Service has just been about the best trainer in the country as far as percentage numbers have been recently. He's got Manny Franco. They're a decent 33% together. They're on a very small sample size. As you see here, back during the summertime or at the very end of the summer and the beginning of the fall, at Belmont and Aqueduct, the horse had a little mini 2-race winning streak where he kind of went for that 3 Broke Guys angle of winning an optional claiming race and then up to a G3. Kind of stumbles a little bit there in the restrictor or the stakes race for 100,000, and then in the General George, even though he finishes 9th, just 4 3/4 lengths off the lead in a 14-horse field. So I went ahead and put Life in Shambles as my top pick, and then I backed him up with the favorite because, as Joe will allude to, I often don't see a favorite that I don't like. And you don't need to hear too much about him, but he hasn't won. Ray did point this out. He hasn't won since he won this race last year. He is 4 for 8 at Aqueduct with 2 seconds. He's 4 for 7 at this distance with 2 seconds. And he's beaten some of the best contenders in this race. So I did have just 1-3 initially, and now I've got the little ... next to it. And there it is, Joe. There's the 4, which means that I'm going to include your Mets pitcher, Syndergaard, in my pick 4 tomorrow. So I've got 1-3 on my initial ticket, but you'll see the 4 that'll show up on there as well. Joe's got 1, 2, 4. If the 4 is his top pick, and I believe Ray's got 5, 1, 3 with the 5 as his top pick. All right, I'm gonna come back on to you.
I did have 5, 1, 3, 4, but I didn't want to go 4 deep in the 7-horse field, so felt a little shy. I was a little shy there.
You getting all conservative on us, Ray?
Yeah, I know.
No, this isn't a turf race, Rich. Come on.
Uh,
It's not a 14.
we haven't won for a while, so we gotta be conservative. You know, we're not banging them out no more. We're trying to.
All right. On to race number 9, and this is going 1 mile on the main track. It's the Stymie Stakes. Purse is $150,000 for 4-year-olds and upward. 8 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 2. It's Sunny Ridge, trained by the aforementioned Jason Service and ridden by Manny Franco. 8-5 on the Aqueduct morning line. Joe, who do you like in the Stymie?
I think Ray would remember. Ray, didn't this used to be the Stymie Handicap?
Yeah, Mile on the Night used to be.
It used to be handicap. Anyway.
Yeah, there is some changes.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
There really are very few handicap races anymore, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Used to be graded, too. Used to be graded.
God forbid somebody actually gives you 125, and you'll never run there again. It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's funny. This race, I mean, I've been doing a lot of formulator work, testing the numbers and checking out, certain likes and dislikes and certain trainer moves and angles. This race, I did all that stuff, but I went back to old-fashioned pace handicapping, and the way to me that this race sets up is that the 3, California Night, will be on the lead. The 4, Stan the Man, will take a pick of either sitting right off of the 3 on the outside, or deciding to go up and engage and maybe decide to figure, well, screw this, I'm better than you, I will take the lead from you. But what I think, unfortunately or not, I just think the favorite's going to get an absolute dream scenario. Sunny Ridge chased a lone speed winner last time out. The first fraction was 25 and change, and the second fraction on the dirt at Aqueduct was 49 and change. And Mr. Buff basically went wire to wire. And Sunny Ridge did take a shot, did beat everybody else in the field, but could not handle a quality horse when given a lone lead. Basically, like I said, Mr. Buff just went wire to wire after shedding slow fractions. And I think Manny Franco probably learned a lesson from that. This race, he cuts back to a mile. And like I said, I just think this scenario is going to be 3-4 on the lead. And the 2 can basically sit wherever Manny Franco can sit wherever he wants and basically move whenever he wants. Again, Stan the Man's a quality horse, and he would be my underneath play. Again, he's the second choice, and just like I'm pulling the Rich here, and I'm going with the 2 favorites. But like I said, even with all the numbers handicapping, I mean, some video work that I've done, none of that seems to matter. This to me just looks very cut and dried, where it's a 2-horse breakout on top. Sunny Ridge is sitting third, and then everybody else is 3 or 4 lengths back, trying to catch up. Trying to pick up the pieces, and I mean, unless the top 2 go really fast early, and then Sunny Ridge gets a little bit cooked because he's a little bit too close to that fast pace. I don't see any. I really don't see any other way other than the 2 or the 4 winning this race. But again, I just think Sunny Ridge is going to get a really great trip for Service and Franco, and I think if you get 8-5, great. My guess is it'll probably be closer to 6-5, but if you get 8-5, great. But I'm going with the 2 as my. I would actually single here. I'm going with the 2 on top alone. If I had to go deeper, I would use the 4. because Stan the Man is in obviously great form, and he's 8 for 10 in the exact at Aqueduct, 3 wins at the distance, and he's three of his last 4 have been wins, and again the lone bad spot was in the cigar mile on December 1st. So to me, it's as simple as 2 and 4. And just to try and get through leg 2, I'm going to try and take it easy. But I'm hopeful that based on our leg 2 history, Ray's going to go a little deeper than that. But I'm just going to play it the way I see it. 2-4 for me, Ray.
All right, that's good. So at least we have the 2 on the ticket. um, I like the 2 a little bit. It's a good horse and stuff. I'm gonna try and beat him. I'm going 3 deep here. I do like the horse you mentioned, Joe. Stand the Man, number 4. Think he'll get a good trip. He has good speed for the distance. He moves up in class. Off his 2 wins, he had 3 straight big brisk figures. With 2 of the wins in the claiming races, and he seems to like the miles 3 out of 6. He had a credible 6th in the cigar mile at 51-1. He finished 6 5 lengths, not too bad. They ran a good mile there. And Dylan Davis is running very well in the meet. John Terranova has a good meet, 27%, and Dylan Davis is 15%. So based on that, Steiner Man should get a good trip. He'll sit behind the other horse, California, like you said. Get first run on them, and hopefully he could hold off Sunny Ridge, who might be coming. Um, it's a 1-turn mile, so he's gonna get a good trip there. I do like number 8, Vino Rosso. Last time we saw him was at Travers. Um, he excited us a little bit in Triple Crown. He did win the Wood Memorial. Coming off the layoff, you know, since August, Pletcher may not have him cranked up as much, but why I'm putting him on the ticket because he is 2 for 2 in Aqueducts. He has an affinity for the Aqueduct surface, and he might just like the track really well, and so he might run better than expected based on the likeness of the track being 2 for 2. He ran a huge Wood Memorial, and came back with a nice third in Travis. So he's got some back class. He might need the race, but I'm throwing him in there because of his Aqueduct experience. I'm gonna take a shot here with number 7, Shiver Me Timbers, coming in for the West Coast guys. They took the plane, come out here, try and get some race again. Unfortunately, Hollendorfer had his horse. He's been running the miles in Del Mar, Santa Anita. Ran nice, been upper optional claiming races. So this being a ungraded stake race is pretty much in the same class as these optional claimers. They're on the higher end, now ones of 1, now ones of 2. So I don't know, 12-1 is a nice price for me. Now again, I'm taking a shot that the East Coast track might just wake him up. That happens sometimes. He might have a good pace to run into. West Point Thoroughbreds, they go all over the country. They're big syndication, and I know there'll be a lot of people there rooting for him. He ran second to Justify back in March, so no disgrace there. And you get Castellano too, 12-1. So I want to take a shot there. So I'm gonna go 3 deep, 4-8-7 for me, and at least we got 2 on the ticket, with Joe's, and we could be fully covered in this leg because we gotta get through the leg. Leg 2 has been our nemesis, but this week we're gonna get through it. Rich.
Yeah, I've got nothing different than what you heard there. I believe I did have the 4 as my top choice. I like Stan the Man. I actually have California Night in there as well. Kendrick Carmusha, Michael Maker. Speed being what it is, showing at least so far there. At Aqueduct, the horse is 3 for 5 at Aqueduct and 2 for 2 at the distance. So I actually have I have the 3 that was in my ticket as well. I've got the 2 on there, and I also have the 8. I heard that Pletcher guy can train, so I've actually got a 4 deep ticket here on this particular race. 8, 4, 2, and 3. And again, the only horse that you hadn't really heard about there was California Night, and that's the Michael Maker Kendrick Carmouche combination. Kind of fits that 3 broke guys angle, moving up in class. A lot of speed, a lot of early speed, and again, when we handicap the back page, in this particular type of race at Aqueduct Racetrack at 1 mile dirt races. You still get about 76% of the winners coming from the early speed types, and you're getting 27% of those going wire to wire. I thought that's the only way this horse is going to win it, but he has a shot at doing that. So I did go 4 deep. Joe singled. Joe's our single in this particular race, and then Ray went 4, 8, 7, if I'm not mistaken. And you've got the 4 as your top pick, right, Ray?
Yes.
All right. Let me come on back to you, and we will move along to the feature here at Aqueduct. I believe this is the Gotham Stakes, if I'm not mistaken. And it is race number 10. Yes, indeed. It's 1 mile on the main track. The Gotham Stakes, Grade 3. Purse is $300,000 for 3-year-olds, 8 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 6. Instagram, trained by Jerry Hollendorfer and ridden by Javier Castellano, is the even money favorite on the Aqueduct morning line. Ray, one more time, you're back up, buddy. Who you like in the favorite in the feature?
Oh boy, when you have a horse like this, Instagram 1-for-1's done nothing wrong. It's 1 by 10, 1 by 10. What can you say? But he's my type choice. But I'm gonna have some backup because I have trouble signaling him at this point. He's going something he's never done before, stretching it out. He's coming off the layoff. But I mean, he's a good horse. He got some big figures. But you never know. These horses, they turn 3. They're working out okay. Hollendorf for Castellano, shipped over here. 50 points. It's a lot of points. Get into the Derby. He can only get better. He's my top choice, but I'm hesitant to single him. I got some backup here. I do like number 3, Mind Control also. He's a stakes winner, hopeful, grade 1, last in Saratoga last year. He did win the ungraded Jerome, which is worth $150,000. So that could have been a grade, low grade 3, could have been, but it's not. On New Year's Day, going a mile, he went wire to wire on the same track with Johnny V. And Greg Sacco's having a good meet. He's he's 2 for 11, but he's still a good trainer, local trainer. So he's trying to get him out to the Derby. He's out of state thirsty, so state thirsty did. So Mind Control Troop quite eligible. He's got good speed to get to pounce on Instagram. And if Instagram isn't ready, he might just go right by him and hold off the other horses. I do like number 6, Hakao. I don't know how you pronounce that. Hakao. The Shadow horse, Cam Glockham. His horse is 2 for 3. He looks like a fighter. He likes to close. I think he got better with distance. And he's been running some good figures. He's been, getting up in time. He likes the wire. Looks like he likes the wire. Gets to get the nose in front. He won by 2 necks. So he looks like he's a racehorse who likes to get down and fight. Won, the low minor stake race, Jimmy Winkfield off the layoff. So I think he'll get better too, going distance. So he'll be a contender to me also, 6-1. So I'll go 6-3, 6-3 and 5 in that order. Sorry, I'm leaving Baffert out, but he's 10-1, so you gotta give him a little consideration with much better. Joe, Gotham.
I'll say at least we're out of baseball references.
50 points.
We went from Syndergaard to Stan the Man. Now there's a football reference in this race if you wanted to go with quote unquote not that Brady. And there's a basketball reference if you want to go with Knicks Go. But here's the thing, and I'm going to try and see if I can learn a lesson from last week. We didn't do a show, but we obviously spoke on the side, and we all were pretty certain that Jaywalk was a slam dunk. So based on that, I'm not sure Instagram's a slam dunk, to the point that I'm not even using him at all. I'm going to again. I'm not. He's only run twice as opposed to Jaywalk having run 5 times, and Jaywalk ran in the Breeders' Cup juvenile filly race, but this was her first race back last week, and she missed the board at 1-5. So I'm going, and since Ray obviously put the horse on the ticket, he would be on the ticket anyway. But on my personal ticket, I'm going to try and beat him. And Ray, I'm going to do what you didn't do, and I'm going with more better. And this was the research that I was doing before the show started. You want to know how successful Bob Baffert and Mike Smith have been in New York over the past, I don't know, 2 years?
Oh, probably 99%.
Is 13 for 15 any good? I mean,
yeah, that's pretty good.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But he missed twice.
And you know what's funny? He had one horse miss the board, and that horse was chasing yesterday, but that was back when she was a 2-year-old.
Wow.
But I mean, the horse is tactical.
Insane.
He's going to be up close to the lead. But Baffert's got, I mean, the number, like I said, the numbers are sick. No, you're not going to get any better than 13 for 15. But it's just, there's just no way you can't. It's like Chad Brown on the grass with in a Philly turf race. You can't not put the guy on the ticket because basically you're asking to get kicked out. And here's the other thing: you might get 10-1. I don't see you getting 10-1 because I think Baffert's horses are better for the most part than the New York contingent that's been there already. So I think, I just can't see Baffert getting 10. There's just no way for me to see Baffert being 10-1. But if you get 5-1, if you get half that, I think you'll be okay. And again, the numbers are just ridiculous. He lost to Gunmetal Gray, but he beat Coliseum in the race in his return in the Sham, and then he won pretty easily in a race that we handicapped last time out. Going 6.5 at Santa Anita, third off the layoff. Baffert shipping in. Obviously, this was planned before the Santa Anita closure, so he's probably been there for at least a couple of days and been able to acclimate. And like I said, you just can't throw out Smith and Baffert on the horse in New York. Just the way it's been the past 2 years, you can't do it. So he's my top choice. And I really think there's going to be a lot of speed in this race. I see, Nick's Go is probably going to have to go. Mind Control's been up close in every race except the Breeders' Cup when he didn't break that well. Not that Brady is pretty fast early, and I think he may be the lead type. So I think the 5, Ray, your high cal, I think, he's going to get an extra furlong. Mm-hmm. Shadwell homebred, Kieran McLaughlin's, off to a fine meet. He's going to, like I said, I think Mirage has been his go-to guy in New York while he's got his mainstream at Gulfstream. But I think there's enough speed in this race. I think he's going to get an extra furlong, and I think he can come along and pick up the pieces. And like I said, I used the other 3 speed horses. Nick's Go is the only Grade 1 winner in the field, having won the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland, having finished second and game winner in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I'll throw out the Kentucky Jockey Club sloppy track. He obviously didn't handle it very well and finished 11th. And then the Sam Davis, he was chasing well-defined, and we'll see how good he is tomorrow when they run the Tampa Bay Derby. This is one of the old rich, sharp angles where the last race before the layoff was bad.
Yeah.
The first race after the layoff is not necessarily all that great. So we're going to forgive those two. If he can run back to either one of the Grade 1s he's running, other speed or not, he's going to be tough. Again, Mind Control is another horse who's been up close on the lead in every race other than the Breeders' Cup. Johnny V gets aboard. He's not aboard, and actually, I'm not. There are no Pletchers in this race, if I'm looking at it correctly. So obviously, he's free to ride for somebody else. So he rides for Greg Sacco. And it's funny. I really did like the way Not That Brady fought back in the Withers last time out, losing to Tax. He was 4 wide around the first turn, and basically he wasn't all that fast in the stride. So Ray Lou Gutierrez rushed him up. And like I said, I would use him if there wasn't so much speed in the race. I just think he's going to sit outside. He should get a nice trip, but I just think I think he's a need the lead type, and I think there's too much speed in this race. So I went 4-5 on my top line with the Baffert 10-1, much better, and then I went 2-3-7 on my bottom line. And like I said, I'm just going to take a chance that Instagram isn't fully cranked up because obviously the Gotham's not the goal. I would assume they still want him to run well because he still needs points to get into the Derby if that's ideally what they want to do.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably going to run better than Jaywalk did. But there's still always that chance, and I'll try and see if I can learn a lesson because he's going to be a short price. He's going to be 2 to 5 based on those 2 running lines, and he might be good enough to beat this field by 10. I don't know that there's really any world beaters in here. And if he's that good, yeah, he could easily win this race by double digits. I'm just going to take the chance, like you said, Ray. He's doing something he hasn't done before, shipping to a new track. Hollendorfer doesn't ship a lot of horses to New York. I guess he was fortunate considering, the closure at Santa Anita. The fact that he actually sent the horse to New York, he's got an advantage. And the horse has been there for a few days because I know he's schooled there, and I've seen him on TVG. But like I said, I'm just going to take a chance, and I'm going to toss him based on the Jaywalk factor from last week. So I went 4-5 on my top line, and I'm using the 2, the 3, and the 7 underneath because if Instagram doesn't win this race, the pick 4 is going to be huge, and I'd want to be part of it. Rich?
Yeah, I went along with my 2 handicappers here. I thought maybe Instagram a little bit vulnerable shipping all the way across the country. We haven't seen this horse now for God knows, back last summer. The last time we saw him, he was a dominant 2-year-old. And in the life of a thoroughbred racehorse, well, this is a really long time. He's starting out a new jockey, although it's Javier Castellano, it is a new face for him. And again, we haven't seen him since August of 2018. So I thought there were a number of knocks that you could sit there and say, if you're going to single this horse at even money, just be careful. And then in addition to that, there are quite a number in here. I've actually got 4. So I went with 3 through 6 in this race. Surprisingly enough, me and Joe were probably on the same page. I have a soft spot for Bob Baffert. This is a pioneer of the Nile with Mike Smith coming across the country. I didn't even have Joe's fancy stats. I just thought much better shipping it across the country. I've seen this before. The California dirt horses seem to have that same advantage that I like to think about that the East Coast turf horses have when they come over here. So I did have the 4 as my top. A very, very tentative top on that one, though. So I did go 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Joe, I believe, went 4, 5 with the 4 as his top pick. And Ray, I believe, did you go 6, 3, 5 with the 6?
6, 3, 5, yeah.
And the 6 was your top pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And out of 4.
Yeah.
You convinced me.
Didn't even need the doll, right? I will come on back and we'll head on into the finale for the night. And this is going to be race number 11. And again, they're going 1 mile on the main track. And this is the Busher Stakes. Purse is $250,000 for filly 3-year-olds, 12 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 10. Please Flatter Me. Trained by Mark Reed and ridden by Alex Cintrone, and 3 to 1. She is on the Aqueduct morning line. Joe, you know what? Take us home in the finale at the Big A.
Okay, I'll do my best. This race for a finisher, it's pretty wide open. I mean, there might be 2, 3, maybe 3 horses in here that I think have really no chance. Other than that, at a 12-horse field, and I could see a lot. Any of the other 9 winning would really not surprise me. And this is also a 50-point race for the Kentucky Oaks point standings. So, and just to remind everybody, I even think I wanted to make sure everybody knows. I think isn't there a Derby future pool this weekend? If I think there is, and you might want to be aware of that.
Okay.
And I think there's an Oaks pool this week too. Anyway, I'll get back to the race itself. I actually like a horse quite a bit in this race, and it's funny because actually I like a trainer quite a bit in this race, and that's the horse that Rich has on the screen right now. That's the 11, Always Shopping. That breeding is incredible. The horse broke her maiden in the Busanda last time out, going 1 1/8 for Manny Franco and Todd Pletcher. And I liked the way she did it. She sat in behind horses. She waited. The jock was patient. And when they turned for home, when she got the opening, she got through. The horse Philly Joel ran pretty well inside of her. And she put up a little bit of a fight, but Always Shopping did really well. and obviously Stop Shopping Maria is a Rapolde staple. Philly, Awesome Again is obviously, goes without saying. That breeding is outstanding, and I think the mile is fine. And I also think that there is plenty of speed to be had in this race. I can see, I was looking at it early. Ujai is probably going to go to the lead. It's Justin the Wire showed speed last time out. Excess Capacity has a little bit of speed. Philly Joel obviously on the engine. Shelly Ann, recent state bred allowance winner for Jimmy Jerkins. Please Flatter Me's been in front basically every step of her career. So I think there's enough speed that Always Shopping is going to be able to sit in behind those horses. She's got an outside post, so Franco can keep her out of trouble. And like I said, I just like the way she won last time out. And Pletcher, obviously in New York, Pletcher's always a threat regardless. So I went with Always Shopping on top, 4-1, tentative second choice on the morning line. And the other horse I went with in my A group was the horse right outside, which also happens to be Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez, and that's Oramore. Had a chance to watch her win at Gulfstream. Very professional. One going away, 2 for 2 lifetime. This is an Orb. And obviously, Orb won the Kentucky Derby. So I don't see 8 furlongs being a big problem for this horse. I like the fact that they gave the horse a little confidence boost by having her win the allowance race at Gulfstream. And Johnny V comes north, and he rides this horse. And it's funny because I'm not really sure why Johnny V came north, considering that Tampa's got a pretty good card, and the Ortiz brothers are both down there. And maybe that's why he came north, is because the opportunities were more plentiful at Aqueduct, with the Ortiz brothers taking everything that was going on down in Tampa. But again, I like the way Oramore won last time out at Gulfstream. She's going to get an extra 2 furlongs, which, like I said, out of an Orb, I don't think you're going to really have any issues with the distance. So I went 11-12 were my top 2 choices, and I didn't want to not have the 10, Please Flatter Me, because she's 3 for 3 lifetime. She's won 2 stakes. Everything she's won is by open lengths. I would put her on my B line, but the thing is, if Instagram does not win the Gotham, I want to be alive for as many possibilities as I can be in the Busher. It's a wide open race. I mean, I can be 3 deep and still not necessarily feel like I have the race covered. But I think the 3 outside horses are probably the best horses. And again, Philly Joel is a speed horse who would need to be reckoned with. But I'm leaving her off my ticket. So I went 11-12 on my top line, with the morning line favorite, the 10 on my B line in the Busher. So Ray, take it away. What do you got in the Busher? You see anything else you like?
No, we're actually on the same 3 horses. Little different order, but just in the exacto, we vary. I do like the 12. It's weird, 1 turn mile, and this usually I don't the post positions don't really bother me too much on the 1 turn mile, because they come out of shoot and they just run and straight, and they have a lot of time to come over and stuff. So I'm going to the outside too. I think the 3 best horses are on the outside. I do like 12 or more. Pletcher, Giant V. Yeah, he's coming up here to hang out with me, Joe. I invite him over. But um, she should get a nice trip for that post. She's been running very well. She broke a maiden, and she won 9 wins of 1 being protected. Up to a claiming race, big win by 7. She drew off very impressively, so I think she'll just get better as the distance go on. She's by Orb, like you said, and he could run. He won a derby, and he's got a lot of stamina there. So 6-1 is a nice price for these horses. So I'd like to have that horse on top with that price. I do like 11, Always Shopping. Mike Ripoli, and we know him. All these horses he's had, and his stable, Ripoli stable. Yeah, Stop Shot Miller. She was definitely a graded horse. She won 9 graded stake races, and a tough mare. And that's good breeding, dude. Very good breeding. Manny Franco's aboard. Breaking the maiden and the Busanna going 9 furlongs. That's pretty good. She shows some talent there. She shows some stamina. So this should be one of the horses. If she runs well, I could be looking at the Oaks. Our famous Oaks Derby double, which we love to do. So she could be a factor there. I hope she runs a good race. She'll definitely improve. And as the distance go on, and 1 mile should be right up her alley. I didn't want to like just like you, Joe. I didn't want to leave the 10 out. The 10 is 3 for 3. Running Penn National, Laurel, but these races, but this horse did it so easily. Won by open length, so it looks like she has some talent. She's out of money, so she's not really sprinting. She's kind of sprinting. Breeding there with Munnings, but still 1 mile is within that range. So I think she'll run well. She got the speed. And on this track, if speed could be very, very dangerous, and she could just outbreak them and keep on going. And Mark Reed is here for a reason. They come here. They don't come here just to for a vacation or a little trip to New York. They come here to try and win races. So um, probably be the favorite. And it's also like he has some nice talent winning the those little stake races over there in Pennsylvania and Maryland. So they mean business. So they're here to win. So I'll go 12, 11, 10 in my finale. So hopefully we'll be alive. Rich?
Wow. Just not much variation in the handicapping tonight. I think Joe started off us by going 11, 12 with 10 on your beeline, and Ray, you followed that up with 12, 11 with 10, and if I'm looking here at mine correctly, I've got 11, 12, 10. I think my strategy here was I started off by not splitting my pletchers. I did like always shopping a little better as the two pletchers here. Stepped right for the maiden class and then won that stakes race at Aqueduct, going 1.125 and did beat Philly Joel in that race in a 9-horse race. As a closer, going here in a route, at least I know it's against the percentages here on this back page, but I decided to go ahead and put that as my top horse. It was the 11. I backed it up here with Aura Moore, which is John Velasquez and Todd Pletcher, one of the best combinations in the country. Moving up in class and switching over to a route. But again, a Gulfstream Park horse that I think certainly Pletcher wouldn't move into the class if didn't have the confidence that this horse was going to be a solid play here. And then, of course, exactly what Ray mentioned. Always beware that undefeated horse. Please flatter me. Obviously, a worthwhile favorite here, the 10 horse. So I've got 11, 12, 10. The 11's my top pick. Joe, you've got 11, 12. The 11's your top pick. And Ray's got 12, 11, 10 with the 12 as his top pick. I will come on back to you and we'll go ahead and put our ticket together and we'll put this one to bed for the evening.
I gotta tell you, that Penn National 111-1. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
You don't see it too often. Penn National.
Just to watch that Please Flatter Me one at Laurel. She was very impressive that day. Like I said,
Yeah.
I just think I think Philly Joel is going to make it
Yeah, make her work. Yeah.
difficult for her to be on the lead. If she can
Mhm.
rate, she's going to be tough. But we'll see tomorrow. I wanted Ray. I'm not sure if you did you hear the unfortunate news about Tom Seaver?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
Well, she's following my grandma's shoes, who's 89 years old. She's had dementia for like 5 years, so she's hanging in there. So I wish her well in the family.
yeah, of course. It's I remember
It's a
meeting.
terrible disease. I've lived through it because I've seen my grandma a lot. So it's just something that you just have to be patient and deal with them.
Remember being at his retirement ceremony.
Yeah.
Retirement, the day they retired his number, and I remember meeting him at an autograph signing in Anaheim quite a few years ago. And I actually got a signed Tom Seaver baseball. I still have it, and I mean, hopefully it's. I don't want it to appreciated value. Unfortunately, those things only happen. Players pass away, and there. I mean, I guess at this point he's not going to be signing too many more baseballs because they basically are taking him out of public life. So,
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
so my guess
Yeah.
is you won't see him at the Hall of Fame induction
Right.
ceremonies anymore or anything like that. But yeah, no,
Hmm.
definitely all the best to him and his family. It's just
Yeah.
that. I mean, I one of the games I remember him pitching was his 300th win at Yankee Stadium, the
Hmm.
White Sox. I still remember that he pitched a complete game that day, and Don Baylor hit the fly ball left field for the last out. That was pretty awesome. And
Yeah.
300 game winners aren't going to happen. Probably you may never see one ever
Yeah.
as now. I mean, 200 wins may be the new 300. If you can get to 200, God bless you.
And I'll be honest,
Anyway,
if they had the act together for a couple of years there on a good 5, 6, 7 year run, he could have pushed 400. Honestly, he was that good of a pitcher, but he
oh,
just didn't get the support a lot of times. I mean, he would face Carlton, he would face Sutton, he would face.
sure,
I
Gibson,
mean, 2-1 matches, losing
yeah,
a lot,
Gibson,
and you know.
sure.
But my moment with him, I remember being in Shea Stadium in September something in I think 70, I'm not sure, 73, 74, where he hit he think he struck out Manny Sanguine for his 200 strikeout for like 9 years in a row. I'm like, it was unheard of. And unfortunately we sat in the upper deck and like I could still hear the ball pop the mitt in the catcher. You can hear that boom like in the eighth inning. It's like,
We can
you
reminisce
know.
about baseball, but I'm sure
Oh
Rich,
yeah.
this show wrapped up. So Rich,
Most definitely. Yeah. But we wish him well.
All right.
Oh,
So for
41.
those of you who are watching along at home, we've got this is how we do it on our show. The greens on top represent the group pick. The red is Ray. The black is Joe, and the blue on the bottom is me. And I'll take you through this. Here we go. In the first leg, I've got the 5, the 4, the 1, and the 3. Let's see, the 5, that's Ray, that's your top pick. The 4, Joe, that's your top pick. And I've got the 1 as my top pick. So there's 5, 4, 1. And the 3 is between me and Ray. I think we both got those on our top line. Second leg, we've got 4, 2, 8. Ray's got the 4 as his top pick, and Joe's got the top pick as his 2. Actually, the top pick is the 8. So 4, 2, 8. And that's it. Second or third leg, we've got the 6. Ray, that's your top pick. The 4, that's Joe's top pick. The 3, that's my top pick. And the 5, we all have the 5 on there. The 6, me and Ray both had that one. So 6, 4, 3, 5. And then we all had 12, 11, 10 in one variety or another. That'd be a $72 pick for, I believe.
Yeah. Let's just hope that the three 8 to 5 favorites, the 8 to 5 or 11 favorites win.
Yeah, don't collapse us there.
Could possibly win bet but lose money.
I like Joe's single here, the Sunny Ridge. If I was to single tomorrow, if I needed a single, I think I might be inclined to lean toward my friend Mr. English there and use Sunny Ridge in the second leg of the pick 4, and still try and beat Instagram as much as possible there in leg number 3.
Bum, bum, bum. You're gonna single in leg 2. I'm just
yeah. There you go.
I'm begging for it.
All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, well, we're going to try to be back next week. It's what the Three Broke Guys like to do on a weekly basis. So we're going to get together. We'll take a look at another exciting card. I'm pretty sure it won't be anywhere here in Southern California, but we're going to try to stay right there. We'll be back on our same channel. Gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, always a pleasure.
All right. For Joe English and for Ray Torado, my name is Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Hey, good luck and good night.
Night.